we gave them kind of these samples, and they were getting so, first off, the first thing they would do is panic. They look and they get a ton of anxiety. Now I have to change my entire life based on this piece of paper.
Yep. Yeah. Time to 180 your lifestyle. Oh wait, but what if I have this event coming up on Friday. What do I do then? Or what about during the holidays? Or what about, like you said, like I'm having a bit of a bad day. I'd like a cookie, like there's just way too many things that come up that will foil this plan, the anxiety, feeling of restriction, feeling like, well, this doesn't have any of the foods that I like on it. I don't like any of this stuff. This doesn't meet my preferences. Well, I'm vegan on Thursdays, so what do I do on that day?
What about my wine?
Yeah.
I don't see any wine in here.
Yeah. It immediately comes across as like, all right, you don't get to eat anything that you like anymore. You're
setting
just going to
somebody up for failure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, then it brings this feeling of failure, and then that's when people fall off and they're like, "Oh, I already failed. I ate the cookie that wasn't on my meal plan today, so now this whole meal plan's out the window."
Yeah, it feeds the all or nothing mentality. Like, sure. I didn't follow the step-by-step instructions, therefore I failed for the day, or I went over the calories, or I mean, it's just it's frustrating how often that is the first thought that people bring to me when they're having a consult. So are you going to just tell me what to eat? You're going to give me a meal plan? And I'm like, no, I'm actually not. That's actually the last thing in the world I would want to do. But I get it. You're probably coming to me. You've gotten to this point because you're frustrated.
You're desperate.
You're frustrated. You're desperate. What you've been doing hasn't been working. Fuck it. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I want to lose this weight so badly. They'll convince themselves that they'll do whatever. I will do whatever. Just give me the instructions and I will follow them to a T because I'm so, I'm so
ready.
Frustrated. I'm ready.
And
then 2 weeks into it, like it all falls apart.
It's 2 days into it and they recognize the reality of what's sitting in front of them. And you mentioned the word, which is rigidity. Like, well, where do I fit this thing in? And is there any room for that? And by virtue of giving them a piece of paper or spreadsheet or whatever else that they're looking at, there isn't any programmed into there. And that question is going to come as a coach. So as coaches that are giving these templates out there, like, that's going to come. Like, you know it. And again, I know it because I seen it, right? Like, it doesn't take very, they look at it and they nod their head and they go, okay, I guess this is what I'm paying for. And then they realize, then they start to have regret, right? And then they come to you, and we talked about this the last time on one of our other podcasts about it's like accusatory, like, well, this doesn't work for me and it's not working and I'm not losing weight. Well, of course you're not, because none of this gave you anything to go on outside of, like, this isn't a roadmap. This is like, you think about like navigation systems. People don't know how to get across their fucking towns anymore because they don't spend any time paying attention.
All they've been doing is looking at the instructions.
Following Google Maps, right? And they still get lost and they still make wrong turns. And, then they get super upset when maybe the instructions that they did get are not right? Like, well, come on, where are you taking some responsibility for this? So I think the big thing in this is hopefully what people take away and why these meal plans are an issue is you've learned nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Precisely.
There's no personalization to this. And in nutrition coaching, if fitness coaching is challenging, go ahead and 10x that on the nutrition coaching and lifestyle side of things. It's wildly more difficult for both and I would say, difficult. I'll use the word challenging for both the client and the coach because of how much more depth of knowledge you need to either have to start as the coach and then obtain from the client, and then more specifically, the client obtaining from the coach.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked as a nutrition coach a few different times, and honestly, like, I don't have the patience for it. It takes a lot more going through these finer details of their day to day. And obviously I still have those conversations with clients as the fitness coach, but, thinking of this kind of comprehensive wellness, I guess, let's say. But as a nutrition coach, it's challenging. But to go back, like you hit it on the head with, you're not learning anything. And I think for the average person who your goal is health, longevity, things like that, is just like fitness, but even more so with nutrition, is you should learn to modify to where the nutrition fits into your lifestyle that you want to have, not change everything in your lifestyle to get shoved into this this box of what the nutrition should be, which the meal plan is the ultimate version of that, right? So how do you even I even think people with different cultures, different things like that enjoy different foods,
completely.
So
that's a whole other consideration.
What about I don't eat sweet potato?
That software broke it down to literally, like you had the drop downs for Mexican, right? There was Hispanic, there's Mexican, and then there was Hispanic. Well, which one do I fucking choose? I don't know. That means I have to ask a person a question or have an intake form where they have boxes to tick, right? And then so I can put them in a box, right? There's that. There's Asian.
So I can ethnically categorize their diet.
But wait. I like Mexican food, though. What do I do?
That's exactly my point. Like, it sounds ridiculous, right? But at the time, you get this shit and you're like, oh man, this is awesome, right? It does all the work for me. This seems so simple because you don't know what you don't know, right? And neither does your client, which is the problem. And they're just, again, frustrated and desperate. They just want answers, right? And you're not giving them any. You're actually selling them, like I said, a problem at the end of the day, which you are going to have to either help them unwind, or you're just going to lose them altogether as a coach. And as a client, where have you put that person, right? Deeper into the hole, deeper into the despair and the frustration, or where they're at. And if you're a consumer that's not working with a coach, that's just buying one of these things online, I'm going to tell you, you get what you pay for. So, like, what do you reasonably expect from this? How much thought have you put into, like, what is going on here? And does this seem right for me? Are you looking at this from a critical eye, right? With a critical eye? Are you using your critical thinking skills? I know that's a tough one sometimes. To kind of dissect this a little bit and go, like, why would this work for me? Why should it work for me? And even can it work for me? Right? If you're not asking yourself those questions, and if you're looking at a template, I'm going to tell you, you're going to find all the reasons why it won't, if you think long enough about it, rather than
not emotional about it.
Yeah, looking for the quick answer. We mentioned a couple of things where it's like you don't have a choice. You got to get on that stage in your bikini or your underwear. You want to be as lean as you can possibly get, despite your health, despite your comfort level. Right? There's no room for frustration. There's no crying in baseball. Do this, and we will get there. Right? That kind of thing. That works. It works, but it doesn't work for a long time, right? If you're in that medical situation where it's like, look, you want that gastric bypass surgery, I got to get you to lose 100 pounds first. How important is that to you? For that person that may be on their deathbed or just left the doctor's office with a metabolic disease or disorder or some level of health you're going to be dead if you don't do this, that's a pretty good motivator for a lot of people, but clearly it's not enough for a lot of people to go, I got to eat this, right, in order to lose the 100 pounds to get the gastric bypass or the sleeve or the whatever medical intervention that I need. So yeah, I might do that. But again, that is it's a larger population than we probably, it's bigger than it's ever been. But my point of that being is you get it, right? It's not who we're talking about. Again, on the performance side, I already said that. It's not accounting for you. Like, bodybuilding is not performance. It's a quote unquote conditioning level that you get to, but the things that you have to go through to get there are not healthy and they're not sustainable. Hard stop. On the performance side, if I need to get out on the field, the court, the mat, the ice, the whatever it is that I'm doing on a regular basis, this will ebb and flow. It absolutely will ebb and flow. So to give like a whole team, like, how much do you weigh? What's your BMI? What's your BMR? Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. That's a failure right from the get-go.